Welcome into the First Alert News Center. I'm Hannah Burbank, and here are today's top stories, starting with story number 5. The chaos at the Columbiana Center Mall over Easter weekend in 2022 is spilling into a Lexington County courtroom this week, as one man makes his case that despite firing his weapon, he should be immune from prosecution. Joanne Price is one of 3 charged in the mass shooting at the mall, where more than a dozen people were hurt, 9 with gunshot wounds. He has come before a Lexington County judge this week for a pre-trial hearing, arguing that he shot in self-defense. The state called Sergeant Brian Zwolak, a Lexington County Sheriff's Department investigator with the Crime Reduction Unit, to the stand as an expert in violent crime intelligence. He was qualified as an expert over the defense's objection. Zwolak, who has extensive experience looking into gang violence, testified that Price was engaged in a culture of violence on social media with the other 2 co-defendants in this case, Amari Smith and Marquise Robinson. According to Zwolak, the chaos that ensued at that crowded mall was an inevitable byproduct of that. All 3 individuals charged in this case, Price, Smith, and Robinson, bear responsibility for the mall chaos. That's according to the solicitor. Each faces attempted murder charges. No trial dates have been set yet. Moving on to our 4th top story. 3 more teenagers have been arrested in connection with a deadly Richland County drive-by shooting that happened in July, according to a news release from the local sheriff's department. The shooting happened at the 300 block of Hickory Ridge Drive in Columbia. 2 people were found dead in a car in a front yard, and a 3rd person was shot multiple times and survived. The 2 people who were found dead were identified as Dominic Goodwin, 22 years old, and 22-year-old Xavier J. Hopkins of Columbia. Richland County Sheriff Leon Lott announced the arrest of a 16-year-old on July 16th in a news conference. Deputies then arrested 17-year-old Nicorian James on July 26th. He is being charged as an adult, according to the Sheriff's Department. Another 16-year-old was arrested on July 31st, and a 4th 16-year-old was arrested on August 5th. Now, this shooting stems from an unsolved crime that happened in Columbia several years ago, according to a news release from the Sheriff's Department. Now, the Sheriff's Department said no other suspects are wanted at this time. Moving on to our 3rd top story. Officials reported 6 children were hospitalized due to a mosquito-borne infection in a county in Tennessee. Kelsey Wilson with the Knox County Health Department confirmed 6 cases of La Crosse virus were reported in the past 9 weeks, all of which have hospitalized children. La Crosse virus is a mosquito-borne infection spread by the bite of an Aedes mosquito, which bites primarily during dawn and dusk in wooded areas. Wilson says with mosquito season still ongoing, the best way to avoid a La Crosse infection is to prevent or reduce mosquito bites. You can find more details about this infection up on our website, wistv.com. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with the rest of our top stories after this.
When I think about the big stories in South Carolina, my mind always comes here to our South Carolina State House because of real stories that affect real people in our community. I think back on the huge teacher rally, thousands of teachers from across our state coming here to the South Carolina State House to rally with SC for Ed. In my mind, this is the heartbeat of democracy, of advocacy, of equity, of justice, and what makes our community such a special place. WIS 10 Connection.
Welcome back to today's top stories. We pick back up with story number 2. 2 German boys who got buried in the sand after digging a hole in a dune in northwestern Denmark on Sunday have died. That's according to police. Now, the 9 and 12-year-old boys who were on holiday with their family from Munich died late Tuesday. They have not been named. They were digging a hole in a dune on the beach on Sunday when the dune collapsed, burying them. The boys were pulled out by firefighters and police with the help of local people after being buried for 40 minutes. They were flown by helicopter in critical condition to the University Hospital in Aarhus, Denmark's 2nd largest city, where they died. Central and West Jutland police said Wednesday they considered the case a, quote, tragic accident and had no further comments. Moving on to our top story of the day. A teacher is on leave after making football players do exercises on a hot turf field, causing blisters and 3rd-degree burns. That's according to an incident report. Football players at Buford High School in South Carolina told investigators that they were punished for making cat sounds while preparing for their weightlifting class. As a form of punishment, the teacher allegedly took them outside to the turf football field and made them bear crawl and crab walk. The players told the teacher that the turf was burning their hands, but the teacher allegedly told them to keep going to toughen up those soft hands, according to the incident report. The class was near the end of the school day, and the high reached 93 degrees that day. The temperature of turf fields is about 20 degrees hotter than the air, according to the incident report. Investigators determined that the teacher would not be charged and that the incident should be, quote, a matter for the school to handle, end quote. On Tuesday, the Lancaster County School District confirmed that the teacher had been placed on paid administrative leave. The incident is still under investigation, according to a spokesperson for the school district. Now, that is all for today's top stories, but you can find all of these stories and more up on our website at wistv.com.